Hello. Hello? I can't hear you.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about that. That was just a loyalty test. Just to make sure that, like, if I didn't start talking immediately, that you wouldn't just go find someone else to do the podcast with.
Oh, yeah,
And,
I wasn't doing that.
good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't in the middle of doing that, and I wasn't really close to finding someone.
yeah, no, that's great. And so that's gonna allay my feelings of being surrounded by enemies for at least a couple hours.
Yeah, you've been having a lot of enemy feelings?
Well, it's all the connivers and the schemers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And you're thwarting their plans?
oh, constantly. It's if I'm not thwarting them, then I'm dead, basically.
Right.
You know, uh,
It's kill or be killed. And
Yeah.
you've been killing people.
I'd like to say I don't like to put it that way. I like to say it's a dog eat dog world where
And you've been eating dogs.
every dog looks out for itself and
Eats dogs. That's me pretending that's where the intro would come in. But I did the outro.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Run Button Podcast. It's June 21st, 2023. Can that be right? Are we sure about that?
Yeah, do we want to? Hey, roll back the tape on that, guys.
2023? This seriously happened. I was on Saturday.
2023. This seriously happened?
I said to my supervisor, like, oh, I'll see you on Monday. And they're like, oh, you're coming in on Monday? And I was like, yeah, we all are. And he's like, no, it's a holiday. And I was like, and it's Juneteenth. And I went, oh, we get that off. This must be the first year. And he was like, no, it's the third year. And I was like, oh, right.
Right.
Time.
Right, and we can do the math on why it's the third year.
I've just ever since the pandemic started, time has condensed into a singularity, a solid moment of time constantly is.
A hyper dense crystal of time.
Yes, a hyper dense time crystal, not unlike an item that you might use for something in recently released video game The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Huh? Look at me.
Look at that.
Huh?
Super dense crystals that contain
right into a video game thing. It's like we're a video game
team
podcast.
Effort. That was a team effort. I set you up.
It's like we never left.
We didn't ever leave. We've just been at our houses.
It's like we never left. It's like we I was gonna say another Zelda thing, but that's actually a spoiler. I can't say that.
Okay.
You ever how you doing on the story in there? In Tears of the Kingdom, have you gotten all the tears of the kingdom?
Yeah, I got all the tears, and I learned that was the in the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I think that I did this out of the order that they sort of imagine you doing it when they're sort of like guessing what the critical path is going to be for most players.
The tiers?
Yeah, I essentially got every single tier before I did one dungeon.
Yeah, I never really considered it. I just kind of went around and got them all.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, the map. I know the map. I'm going to fly from place to place and get all the tiers. And, maybe I had like 2 tiers left or 1 tier left when I did my first dungeon, which was the Rito dungeon.
I also did that one first, which I think is the one it sets you up to do first, right?
Yeah, and even though I had made it to every place by the time I did my first dungeon, I chose to do the one that they seemed to want you to do first.
Ironically, one of the things I most complained about in Breath of the Wild was that I felt like it too strongly tracked you towards the water dungeon first instead of letting you go wherever you wanted. And ironically, in this one, I thought about breaking from the new critical path and going to the water dungeon first. But then I was like, no, I kept complaining that it didn't want me to start in the mountains, so I guess I should do that.
It's funny because I literally did the exact same thing. I went to the Rito. Then I was like, well, it clearly wants me to go here, but I don't want to deal with the cold.
Right.
So I went to the water.
Spicy peppers.
I went to the water. I made it all the way to Sidon. And...
Spoilers.
Oh, like they're not going to include your fucking best friend in the game.
Spoiler, your fuckable shark boyfriend is in the game.
Yeah, I have this really fun little roller coaster when you show up and... they immediately go like, we're Nintendo. We saw all the art. No. Sidon's not gay. He has a fiance.
Yeah.
And then you get to Sidon, and the first thing he goes is, I'm not really sure about this girl.
I know, right? Like, it really, like, you end up being the most unsure of Sidon and Link's relationship at the beginning of of it, and then by the end, you're like, yeah, they're fucking when she's not around.
They have a nice moment. The green fiance and Sidon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think she's a great beard for him. They seem to get along great.
I was never a Sidon head though. I get it.
No, I wasn't either. I'm just really playing into it.
Yeah.
I didn't really get. I guess I did get it. I don't know. Whatever. He had a smile. I think he didn't have a voice in the last one, right? This is new? Is the voice new?
That's a great question, and I cannot give you an answer.
I'm not a fan of the voice. The voice is weak to me. It's not a himbo voice.
The voice is a little weak, and there's actually a couple weak voices in the game to me.
Yeah.
But Zelda's voice is great, and that's the one that you hear. That's the 95% of the voice in the game is Zelda. So
yeah, she does a great job.
Even better, I think, than in the first game. I think that she improves.
Yeah.
In the little one, I guess it makes sense, but she felt a little stuffier. Like it feels like she opens up as a character, and also the voice acting opens up a bit, which works. It's what
I agree.
It's what happens. And God, it's just so sad. I mean, the beginning of the game, really, I know that what Link really just wants is to hang out with Zelda, and Zelda games won't let him do it.
Right, I know.
That's really all he wants, is to just kind of hang out with his princess friend, quote unquote friend.
Just let them chill.
Nintendo, make Zelda and Link fuck.
No, they don't. They just need to chill. Just let them chill. They're always going on quests. She's always getting kidnapped. He's always got to. What does he got to do? He's got to fight a moblin. Oh, right.
He's gonna fight a You're gonna make Link fight a moblin.
He's got to go through a fire temple, probably.
Yeah, very interesting. Really cool.
Between 1 and 3 pieces of the Triforce, probably.
Has there been any Triforce in the Breath of the Wild games? No, right?
No.
Yeah, that's not in there. I like how easily they took his hat away.
It shows up in the cutscene at the very end of Breath of the Wild, so that's like getting 3 of them, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Momentarily.
I love that
Oh no.
30 years, 40, how many years of Zelda? 40 years?
40.
40 years of Zelda games. I love that in 40 years of Zelda
Almost.
games, Link has his green hat in every single Zelda game. And then Breath of the Wild comes along and they're like, no, he's got a blue shirt and no hat. And immediately I'm just like, yep, that's Link now.
The green outfit now does seem weird.
Yeah, and it's just like somehow Link is bigger than his classic look.
Yeah,
in a way that's really impressive. Like they really did it. Like in a way that
I kind of didn't buy it at first. I was like, this won't stick. It's he's not Link without the pointy hat, but it did work.
It worked immediately.
I don't think people think of him as a green hat wearer anymore.
It's the sort of I think that the trick is that first of all you can get a green hat in the game.
Right. Yeah.
Like you
it's
can
still there
put
if
it
you
on.
want it.
I think that the trick is that I don't think people like even realize that he's not wearing it like actively. Like it's not in the front of their mind. And then you say something like, yeah, it's literally the first game where he's not in the green tunic and the hat. And you're like, that can't be true. And then take a look. It really is.
I mean, hey, I knew it was true. You didn't have to.
I know you knew it was true. But I'm talking about people who get mad about things when they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Though I did mention in our stream of Tears of the Kingdom, a big bummer to me.
That was a good stream, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should go look at it.
Yeah, check that out. We did a good one.
I remember when it ended, I was like, that was funny. We were funny in that one.
Yeah.
I think that every time I do anything, but with that one, I really mean it.
The bit with the fan and the hey, don't look, it was the good stuff we had there.
Yeah.
My complaint with Tears of the Kingdom, this might be one of my biggest complaints, honestly, is that like the outfits and the armor stuff that you could get in Breath of the Wild, I think it all looked very nice. Like it's detailed and there's like a good variety of stuff. It's not like the biggest breadth of equipable items in video game history, but it's decent. It was good for the size of the game. In this sequel that's coming out 6 years later, by the way, it's been 6 years. There's like they've maybe added 15% onto the number of items. Like every item is back, and they added a few new ones.
Are you sure
but
there's not more than that?
You're mostly wearing identical stuff, and it's bonkers to me. It's so weird.
Are you sure there's not a bigger increase than that? I think there's a bigger increase.
I'm quite certain. Yeah, like all of the armor I have is all stuff I had in the first game, except the
there's
the
19 sets in Breath of the Wild, and if there's DLC sets, that's including it. Tears of the Kingdom, 35 sets. There's also 30 individual armor pieces that aren't part of a set. I do not have numbers for that in Breath of the Wild.
Sure, but a lot of those sets are gimmick sets. Like there's an armor set for Phantom Ganon. Like if you put on the set of armor in Tears of the Kingdom, you put it on and it makes you look like Phantom Ganon from that one boss fight in Ocarina of Time that Keith doesn't remember because he's not a Zelda head.
The purple one?
Nope.
What's that from?
What's the purple one?
It's like a big, chunky purple armor.
Big, chunky purple armor.
Yeah.
What, Kingdom Hearts? What are we talking about?
No, it's from Zelda because it's in
Which one?
Zelda.
Which one?
It's like it's big and chunky and purple, and it's armor, and it increases your attack power.
Dark Nut?
Dark Nut?
Yeah, Dark Nut is there's the recurring Zelda enemy that's like a big knight that wears armor, and it's called the Dark Nut.
It's called the Phantom armor set.
That might be like a different Phantom Ganon. That might be like the Wind Waker Phantom Ganon.
Yeah, it looks Wind Wakery to me.
Dark
Nut.
There's what anyways, for items like the outfits, the toga thing that he's like wearing in the trailers,
Yeah.
you get that early on. And that looks cool, but you can't upgrade it for whatever reason. So it's like useless almost immediately. Like as soon as you get any other armor item, it's better than that.
Yeah, true. But there's stuff that's new that I'm using. So maybe that's why
good
I'm
for you.
feeling like it's like the new stuff is good and is there.
Oh, well, I'm not saying this just to say it. I really don't feel like there's any new stuff. Like I like,
Do you have the flying suit?
no, what the fuck
there you go.
are you
You have the
talking?
flying
A
suit.
flying suit?
Yeah, I found the first piece of it pretty early on. You should do more exploring
What?
of the Sky Islands then.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a suit where each piece of it ups your when you've got like your arms out, it increases your glide speed.
Oh,
And then when you have all three pieces and upgrade them twice, the set bonus is
Jesus.
immunity to fall damage.
that
So you just
That-
go rocketing into the ground.
that is quite an A to B to C.
Yeah, yeah.
These will help you move a little bit more when you're falling, but then if you get all of them, you're invincible to
Honestly,
falling on
it's,
the ground.
it's pretty significant. I would call it a tripling or more of your glide speed, like your x-axis
Sky-
movement.
You're like skydiving.
Your skydiving
speed.
x-axis movement.
Yeah, because it's quite slow.
It's very slow. If you have all three, it's literally you get more x-axis movement than with a glider.
Wow.
Yeah, you're obviously falling still,
Wow. Oh, sure. Okay.
but you can get you. It's really good. Moving between those two things, like gliding and then switching and then gliding. And then being like, I could just I've used all my stamina to parachute, and now I could just glide until I hit the ground because there's no fall damage.
Cool.
So it's really good. It's great for aerial attacks
yeah.
because you can
bet.
because you get the max damage bonus without the penalty of that it can kill you.
It's I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's good for all the same reasons that Breath of the Wild was good.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's obviously this is to be expected, but there hasn't, it doesn't feel as magical and new
No.
as it did in Breath of the Wild, because obviously that was the first one and this is the second one.
Right. It really feels like getting right down to business, fucking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And maybe
To its
that's
detriment to me, honestly.
well, I think maybe this might be something we as players are bringing to it, because I think I was thinking about how if there's one thing that's like typified a difference in my playstyle in Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild is like my first time through Breath of the Wild, I really took time to like stay in one area and finish like the divine beast and do a bunch of shrines and everything, and then move on to the next area and then stay there for a long time. Whereas in Tears of the Kingdom, I was almost immediately just like, let's fucking get all these towers, let's fill out this map. I'm just bouncing around everywhere now.
So I've done every tier, and I've done 2 dungeons, temples.
I've done 3.
I have done like 100 shrines.
Wow.
I don't know if you've done I think that I'm like doing shrines at a pretty good clip compared. I just got my 20th heart, and I've got I'm 1 stamina shy of 2 extra stamina bars, I think.
Wow.
So that is where I've put a lot of time, and I did at first feel like I'm starting to feel kind of guilty, like how quick I'm just warping up to a sky thing and then gliding as far as I can or like getting on a ship, like building a ship and then flying to the next tower, getting that tower, and I don't really feel like I'm exploring the way that I did in the last game. But then I started like having to double back for things and quests and going and getting the shrines. And I now feel like I've spent a lot of time in each area, but it kind of filled in like raindrops on dry cement more than like a paintbrush.
Yeah. And it's the same. I mean, there's a lot of changes to the game world, but it is fundamentally the same game world. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like stale or played out, but it's also not like, ooh, this whole new world I haven't seen before. So I'm like, haven't been as enamored with each place that I've been to.
And there's they dedicated a bunch of resources to basically a place that has nothing interesting to look at almost ever.
Which is the depths.
The depths,
you're talking
right?
about.
Yeah.
The Zelda version of the Nether.
Right. So you go to the depths, and it's sort of like, for me, I'm just like slightly more on edge the whole time, slightly more frustrated about everything. Just desperately trying to get more of the resource that the game promises the game is about, which is building and flying the Zonite things.
Which we haven't technically mentioned, but I assume everybody knows about this.
Right. We haven't technically mentioned, but everyone should know that there are little things, there are little devices, and you combine them to make vehicles or contraptions or devices.
And by devices, he means like pieces of wood and stone.
No. By devices,
you can connect like a 2x4-inch device to like a round circular, like a hub and spoke device.
There's wheels and wings and fans and cannons and lasers and what are you talking about?
Okay, fair.
Fire breathing devices and frost breathing devices.
I love those fire breathing devices.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen the sort of viral 2-fan like sky bike that people have been building?
I think I've seen a little of that, but I didn't. I think when I saw it, I hadn't seen the steering wheel before, so I couldn't really parse how it was built.
To all Tears of the Kingdom players, ignore that vehicle to your detriment.
Okay.
Build it immediately.
It's just like a steering wheel with a fan on the front and the back, right?
Yes,
like
at 45-degree angles, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
that
not
does
pointing
sound
down,
pretty
pointing
good.
at 45-degree angles.
Yeah, so
it's super light, so you can get up in the air really fast. I actually have modified it now that I have a decent chunk of battery from plumbing the depths, literally.
I have spent a ton of time in the depths, I feel like, and I still only have like 2/3 of one extra battery.
Have you found... Now, this is going to sound silly. Have you found the plot line that's down there?
Maybe a tiny bit, but no, not really.
Okay. So then you should go and talk to all of your old friends at Lookout Landing then.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I did do that. Like, I went down, I talked to Robbie, we did stuff.
You have the camera?
I have the camera.
Okay. I can show you on a map where you need to go, but it's essentially south of Lookout Landing.
Okay.
And that so I poured blood, sweat, and tears into getting my first extra segment of battery. And then I ran into the plot and immediately had 2 more segments to build. It's still kind of a trickle. But you definitely start getting they definitely like hand you a chunk, give you better ways of getting the what are they called? The blue squares that you need to trade for battery.
There's like 8 different kinds of funny money in this game, so it's hard to keep them all straight, but I believe these are crystallized charges.
Yes, so they give you a better place to get crystallized charges. Because the only place that you get until you find this or a place like it in the depths is you have to go back to the like a beginning island, and it's kind of a trek because there's no easy place to do it from. Right? Are you still going back there to get your charges?
Oh, like back to the starting area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what you need to do is you need to unlock the depths place that lets you buy crystallized charges.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I think I actually did do that and forgot about it.
Okay. And then it's really about getting to the part of the depths that has like the chests that just each chest has 20 charges in it. And then also every boss drops between like 20 and 35 charges. They'll drop a large charge, and the large charges are worth 20.
Yeah, I might actually have only just found that store in the depths now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well,
Hard to keep it all straight.
Was there a fight down there?
Was there a fight down there? That's such a good question. I think that there may have been a fight.
Okay.
Yes.
How about I type in something into the chat?
Sure. Type a thing in. I can hear that Keith's typing something. Discord says that he's typing. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay. So that place lets you trade your Zonite for charges, which then you can trade for batteries.
Right.
Somewhere else, by the way.
Not to be confused with regular Zonite charges, which are used to increase your battery momentarily on the fly. And that's not to be confused with Zonite, which can be spent to
make
summon
either of those two
building
things.
items.
Or to summon in, yeah. I hate wasting Zonite on that, but I do find it handy because you can just take the stuff out of your inventory, put it on the ground,
Yes.
and then ultra hand it into a shape.
Yeah, there is
for free.
Yeah, there's like what is it? It's like a schematic saving system where you can save buildings and then redeploy those built things either by spending Zonite to like will the items out of nowhere, or if the items are there, will like auto build themselves for free.
Right, yeah. I mean, all in all, I think the game is tremendous. I mean, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. I haven't played it in a few days just for
I do love it. I have to say it really is coasting quite a bit on what was already in Breath of the Wild. I mean, like when I'm being the least,
you can't blame a sequel for being a sequel.
No, but like when I'm being the least charitable to it, I joke that it is the first ever expansion pack to be more expensive than the base game because it's $70 instead of $60. Like it really does feel like a meaty expansion pack to me more than an actual sequel. But like since it's such a great game, that's fine.
I don't know. I'm struggling to think of a expansion pack so meaty.
Like
a lot of times a really, really meaty, expensive expansion pack is what we call a sequel.
Well, sure, but like for example, like not that Majora's Mask is necessarily the greatest game ever made, but it came out 2 years after Ocarina of Time, used all the same game assets, but presented a completely different game world that was like and a game experience that was totally different from Ocarina in some key ways. Whereas this it's been 6 years and it's practically a carbon copy of the past game. I don't know.
Yeah, but I just, speaking as someone who's never really loved a 3D Zelda game in my life, like their hit to miss ratio is not so good, especially lately. And I think even Zelda fans can agree that the main Zelda game output in the last 10 years has been roughly bad.
Well, I mean, actually, the Zelda output in the last 10 years has only been Breath of the Wild and
Sorry,
Tears of the
I Kingdom. I meant the 10 preceding years from Breath of the Wild is what I really meant.
Sure. I know what you mean. And I'm willing to admit, like, I use Majora's Mask as, like, essentially an example of, like, a good Zelda sequel, and I do think that now, but in fairness, like, at the time, I was like, what the fuck? Ocarina of Time was so good. Why didn't you just do that again? What's wrong with you people?
Yeah.
So, it can cut both ways, like a sequel that's too different from the predecessor.
I just think that at some point, like, you've got to say that, like, they clearly decided that they wanted to use this world that they built to do something new in a way that they couldn't do the thing that they wanted to do in a whole new map. Like, it wouldn't mean the same thing. And I do think, like, we've already talked about the ways that the tools that they give you in this game totally recontextualized how we played and experienced the map. And that's without even talking about the Sky Islands and barely talking about the depths.
And like, you get the ascend power, which literally, like, as long as the ceiling is close enough to Link's head, you can swim up through the ceiling for as long as it takes for you to get out the other side. Yeah. And that's, like, an amazing... So it is great that, like, you're in the same game world, but you have all these abilities that almost trivialize the world compared to the previous game in a way that, it does feel almost ROM hacky, like you're really, like, busting the game open.
I think that the word trivialize is important because, like, it is this sort of, like, push-pull on the minute-to-minute quality of the game where I'm loving it, but then I'm also missing this world that the traversal of it in a very mundane way was so important to my enjoyment of that game. Yeah. And they've, like, created a game essentially about disrespecting the feeling that the first game gives you in a lot of ways.
In some ways, yeah.
And not to say that they're, like, mad at the first game or want to make the first game look stupid. But it does, like, kind of come at the world not just from a different perspective experientially, but, like, a totally different, like, ideological method for laying out how you move around in a place.
Yeah, I see your point. I found the beginning of the game kind of dragged for me because they clearly had to, like, they had to essentially take the great way that the game introduces you to all the gameplay systems in Breath of the Wild, and they just have to redo that again for people that didn't play Breath of the Wild.
Right.
So it was a little weird, but it worked out well in the end.
Yeah, I didn't mind the opening place. I think it was a little long.
We shouldn't have to talk so... You had to go quite a bit through the Lookout Landing quest before you get the glider, I feel like, which was a little annoying, but whatever. I
really would have loved if they had given you the glider immediately.
For a minute, like, they make you wait just a smidge longer than Breath of the Wild did to get the glider, but it was just long enough to make me think they really might not give it to me. Like, nope, you get Ascend and you get to build helicopters, but you don't get a glider.
Yeah, I agree. I also did have, like, a very like a clawing feeling in the back of my head. Like, are they really not going to give it to me?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, they make you wait kind of a while before giving it to you in Breath of the Wild. But then I played 115 hours of Breath of the Wild, and the glider was pretty fucking important to how that game plays, really. And it didn't feel like they saved anything by not giving it to me sooner. Like, it really feels like they could have given it to me the second I got to Lookout Landing, and it would have been, none the worse.
In fact,
been better.
A friend of mine, like, took off from Lookout Landing a little fast because they were just like, I'm not interested in whatever Robbie's doing. And then so they didn't get the glider. And then they're trying to do the, like, hot air balloon quest with Impa without a glider, and they keep falling to their death.
Hold on. Is this someone that played Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a foolish person.
That's mean.
At some point, you're like, I know that the first game had a glider.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was
who's
when they
gonna give you
came
the
to
glider
me.
except all those people around Lookout Landing?
Well, I had already told them, like, yeah, you get a glider, but it takes slightly longer than Breath of the Wild. So then they finally came to me like, when do I get the glider? I keep falling out of this balloon. And I was like, oh, you should have stayed at Lookout Landing for like 10 extra minutes.
I mean, the tip is that you've got to try to get the glider to get the glider.
Right, but you have no idea what that means. Like, how would you know how to get it?
This could just be the bias of already having known. But like, I wanted the glider, and I spent my time in Lookout Landing talking to the people that I knew would have the glider for me, and not like running around the world, you know?
Well, but I don't remember it telling you that you were going to get a glider. Like,
No, it didn't. It didn't. But I just knew the people who gave me every other thing I was carrying around.
we just both agreed that it kind of made us think that we might not get it.
Right, but I kept talking to those people, and eventually I got it.
But you shouldn't have had to.
No,
you
I
even
agree.
said that yourself.
I agree that I shouldn't have had to, but I did know where I was going to get it if it was in the game.
I mean, following Impa around is not a bad move either. It's not like they fucking took off on their own.
Yeah.
They just went to a different story quest.
Yeah. I got to go back to the place where all the tier things are. I bet there's something there.
A place where all the tier things are. What do you mean?
Yeah, there's the room where it's like, yeah, this is the room where it's like a Stations of the Cross of all the different tiers. You know?
Right. I
never went back there.
No, where is
it's like
that?
it's in the big like canyon. The fissure.
There's a fissure?
Yeah, it's part of the Impa quest. You go there. It's where
I don't know if you can tell I've been playing this game in bits and pieces.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been a few weeks. We've all been there.
I've just been working a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's that thing where I am at work all day being like, can't wait to get home, play Zelda. Almost said Breath of the Wild. The title Tears of the Kingdom has not stuck in my mind at all. I want to just keep calling it Breath of the Wild or like Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. I feel sort of the same way.
Anyway, sorry. Having that feeling of being at work, being like, can't wait to get home and play game, and then getting home and being like, I'm tired. I want to sit and not do game. And then later being like, why didn't I do game?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. I mean, the nice thing about the Switch, though, is that you can just sit on the couch with the little Switch, play it on the little Switch.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you reminded me that this game was on the Switch, Keith. Let me fucking tell you something, okay? Two things.
Okay.
Cheryl doesn't have a Switch, and I wanted to get a Switch for Cheryl, but also the screen on my Switch was really dim when I tried to play it outside. So I wanted an OLED Switch with a brighter screen. And
is this a scheme to get me to give my Switch to Cheryl, and then we both get OLED Switches?
Keith, can you please give your Switch to Cheryl?
And then we both get OLED Switches.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to ask you to buy a Switch for Cheryl, but I thought maybe if you gave a Switch to Cheryl and then had to buy a new one.
If you pay me to give my Switch to Cheryl, then we can both get OLED Switches and be happier people.
No, Cheryl also has a brain sickness that makes her only want secondhand things. She literally doesn't have any clothes that she paid for. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll get me an OLED Switch, and Cheryl can have the old Switch. And so I did that.
Oh, you already did this? God,
yeah,
I wanted to do that.
It wasn't a...
I only just learned about this. I didn't have an opportunity to get
so
get an
sorry.
Switch out of this.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that if I told you about the bad decision I was going to make, that you'd make the same one at the same time, and we could be partners in crime.
I mean, let's look at the clock on that. Maybe even faster. That probably occurred to me way faster than it occurred to you. Because I've been here dying for a reason to get an OLED Switch for a year and a half, 2 years or something.
And I'm looking at the Switches. I'm going on to a Best Buy or something, and I'm saying, because I'm suddenly just like one day at work, I'm like, when I get out of work, I'm buying a Switch.
Oh wait, hold on. Do you have the OLED with you?
Yeah.
Can we before I do want to hear this. Just
Okay.
tell me it's good. Tell me it's worth it. Tell me you love it.
Listen, I do love it.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to wait for them to actually update this damn thing.
Yeah, like I can't tell you that it's worth the upgrade.
Okay,
Like
but
honestly,
what if-
the screen is
I've heard such good things about the screen.
screen's bigger. The screen is definitely bigger.
Bigger, brighter, clearer,
It's
sharper. Is it a sharper image?
it's probably sharper.
Go in there, get some binoculars.
The colors,
Get a leg massager.
the colors don't impress me. It's a little blue. And the brightness, I'm also not impressed. I'm playing it in full sunlight, so obviously it's the worst possible case, but like not noticeably brighter than the base Switch when used outside in broad daylight.
Okay, that is bad conditions.
Bad conditions, but that's exactly the conditions that would
OLED
necessitate a brighter
Right.
screen.
Now, okay. So it's too blue. Do you like a warm image? Are you being tricked by the fact that the default Switch is a little too warm?
Do you think so? I felt like
Did you not notice how extremely fucking blown out yellow the like first 20 minutes of Tears of the Kingdom was? It was like
I wasn't
like
playing-
the Honey
I
Nut
was-
Cheerio bee slathered the fucking opening of that game.
I don't remember what you're talking about, but just because like there's a lot of trees with like golden leaves.
No, I don't think they're golden leaves. I think it's just the extremely yellow sun, bleeding through the leaves, and then the colors are on the Switch screen.
Well,
are too
anyways,
yellow.
I played that part of the game on a TV, so regardless. But I think the original Switch screen is like not extremely crisp and not
No.
very bright, but I
No.
felt like the colors were pretty good. And so the colors on the new OLED are fine. Like in isolation, you won't be like, this looks bad. But when you put it next to a old Switch, it actually compares slightly unfavorably rather than you being like, wow, I hate looking at this old one. It's ugly now.
That's a shame because I did always find that these, like I just said that the original Switch is actually just like 2 ticks too yellow. But if then they reduce the yellow by too many ticks and you just have the same problem, I'd rather a slightly warm screen than a slightly cool screen.
It also somewhere when I was like setting it up, there was some kind of like, hey, do you want us to turn on like vivid colors mode? Do you want sports setting for your Switch or something? And but I can't find it anymore. Like I've been scouring through the settings being like, where was that fucking Switch?
Google
where
it?
where was the toggle for the colors? Is it on or off? Like what
Did you Google it?
wait, what is I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you Google it?
Google. What is that?
You Google?
Like a baby? Baby goes goo goo goo.
That's when you speak at someone's funeral?
You Google?
This is a Zoolander joke.
Oh wow. I've
Old Zoolander joke.
I actually haven't seen it start to finish.
It's at the very beginning, basically. When his friends die, he delivers the eulogy, and the reporter kind of implies that he did a better job than she thought that he would. And he goes, yeah, I know what a ugoogly is.
Yes. Yes. Good. Great.
One who ugoogleizes. You Google it?
No,
Search
I didn't
engine.
Google it. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. Okay, but here's the reason I brought this up was when I went to buy the OLED Switch, I saw that there's as there always is, a limited edition Zelda version.
Oh,
that
and
had
isn't it handsome?
sick golden Joy-Cons with some nice design on it and the cool Triforce dock thing. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's $30 more than the regular OLED Switch. But I mean, it comes with Zelda, so that's like you're saving $35 or something.
It does not come with Zelda.
That's sick too. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you're more up on this than I was.
Yes, because I almost bought that a month
doesn't
ago.
Come with the game,
Right?
so yes, it does look sick.
Right.
But it's a sick look I paid $40 for, though. Like, you just charged me more money than a regular Switch for a thing that's just a Switch that looks slightly different. I mean,
it looks way cooler.
It looks way cooler. Like, I am not disagree. Like, I'm not even like, okay. I guess I have to admit that it is at least $30 more desirable. Which under capitalism is allowed, and I'm not supposed to be mad. But like, these special edition consoles have always been like a gimme, like a bonus. Like,
I think that you're living in the past.
It's a free upgrade, but it's a limited time upgrade, so it's special. That's what's special about it.
I would love to know
it's supposed to be special because it's hard to get, not special because it's more expensive.
I think that when do you think the last time they gave away a special looking console with a game for like where you were net gaining by like getting a game for free?
Oh, I mean, I don't know about the game thing, but
right.
You can't charge more though.
I think you've got to cast your mind back.
You have to charge regular.
I think you got to cast your mind back. I think the thing that you're talking about, it was over before the fucking Xbox 360 Elite was out. Guarantee it.
Okay, but like every DS and 3DS iteration they've made, there's always a special Pretty Zelda version.
Right.
Were those more expensive?
Yes.
Were they?
I worked at GameStop when those were coming out. They were like $20 more expensive. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck out of here, Nintendo.
But it's not just Nintendo, it's all of them. The Halo Xbox didn't come with Halo, and I'm pretty sure it was $30 more expensive.
It had to have come with Halo. How could that?
Okay, so Halo is a special case because Halo technically is free on Games Pass, and so they did give
I was thinking Halo 1.
No, I'm talking about Halo Infinite.
Oh,
that's the one I'm talking about.
That's fucking dumb. Look,
that's a special case though because they do give you a year of Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, and that's on there. So I guess in a way they did give it to you.
I feel like you can either charge more and give me the game,
right,
or you have to charge the same as every other model of that console.
I'm not
you
saying...
You can't split the difference.
I'm not saying that you're wrong to want that. I'm just saying that you are living in a dream world.
Hey, man, listen, I'll tell you the world that I'm living in. It's a world where this fucking Zelda Switch is like the first special edition console I've ever bought, basically. Yeah. And I ain't gonna be buying any fucking more of them until they get their act together.
You know what?
Go fuck themselves.
You know what I have because of Isaac? It's really funny.
What you got over there?
We've got the special Zelda edition of the Wii U.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like shit, I think.
What?
I think it sucks.
Oh, no, wait. I thought, isn't it like the gamepad? It's black, but it has like a
it's got like Triforce on it. In gold.
Let me look it up to make sure I'm remembering the same thing. Because a Zelda theme can go wrong. I've DuckDuckGo'd Zelda Wii U. Zelda Wii U. Oh yeah, yeah. I like the gamepad. It's got a nice little, like, the black and gold goes really well together.
Well, it's okay. There's some, they make it look, because funny enough, they make it look like the Sheikah Slate,
Right.
which is sort of what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole. That's what the Sheikah Slate is.
Right. Well, I think that I don't know when it came out, because I think it didn't come out with it came out with Wind Waker. It didn't come out with
Oh. Okay, yeah, this does look Wind Waker-ish.
Right.
I see that now.
Okay. Oh, but look at what I'm looking at here. Hey, on September 20th, whatever fucking year Wind Waker for the Wii U came out, what do you think a Wii U cost? Because I'm seeing here that the Wind Waker's Wii U, it says free something on it. Wind Waker HD, does it say?
Plus full game download.
Plus full game download. Well, what is that versus what a Wii U cost? It couldn't have cost more. Oh, this is a special case. The Wii U, they were trying... They were trying to sell their first Wii U at the time.
Yeah, the price tag actually just said, please just take it.
Yeah, just take it. Steal it, please.
Wii U, the first Nintendo console sold at a loss.
Okay, there we go.
Representing
representing a savings of $50. So pretty much really just what you were looking for.
Yeah, there you go. And hey, it's even Zelda, if no less. I mean, it's a fully representational precedent.
Also, all the Switch needs to be is to be extremely unpopular and extremely undersold instead of one of the most popular and well-loved consoles of all time, Nintendo. They did it again.
Yeah, listen, I just, I know the score. I'm just pissed about it.
4 score.
Yeah, it's me and 3 other people playing Super Dodgeball with our 4 score.
Anything fun I can get at GameStop if I go to pre-owned here with my employee discount that still works? What can I get? What do you think I can get a used
I think
OLED
you should
for?
I think you should go do Sony market. It's Sony marketing training modules, and then trade it in for a DualShock 2.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I like a DualShock 2.
Yeah, that's how I got my current DualShock 2.
I could get a Switch OLED or a Switch OLED Pokemon for $272.
Wait, dude, that's a lot less than I paid for my Zelda Switch.
Yeah, because I get an employee discount on used consoles.
Oh, they're used. Okay, well,
right.
Okay,
$145 for a Switch Lite.
Yeah, you know why?
Because it's too small.
You can't fucking hook it up to a. It's not too small. It's actually the perfect size, but you can't hook it up to a TV.
Yeah, but really, what
you're right. The screen is too small, but the form factor is wonderful.
Right. There's you can see right on it all the bezel that should be screen.
Yeah.
It's one of the only things that I'm like, make the bezel smaller.
Well, it's not. The screen isn't too small for the device. It's just that because like text on the Switch is often meant for TV, so it's like eensy weensy.
Yeah.
And that D-pad though.
Oh yeah, it's got a real D-pad. So that is but the thing is that I just need another Switch because like sometimes me and Isaac both want to play Pokemon,
Why? Oh my God. You're living in a one Pokemon house? The fuck are you people doing over there?
Well, luckily there hasn't been a Pokemon game that we both wanted to play at the same time basically since Sword and Shield. And that was years ago at this point.
Isn't that the one before the last one?
It's 2 before the last one.
What came in between?
Arceus.
Oh, that doesn't
Sword and Shield was 4 years ago.
The
Switch is only 2 years older than that. I mean, it's like,
I'm not sure what we're arguing about anymore.
I'm saying that I mostly use the Switch. Isaac sometimes wants to use the Switch.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I'm like, God, I wish we had 2 Switches. And if it
what do you
happened
do
more,
when you both want to play Hyrule Warriors Special Edition at the same time?
weirdly, that's never happened. We've dodged a
never
bullet.
come up?
It's never come up. Well,
Come
he doesn't
on.
play as many video games as he should.
It was
He
a
needs to
trick
play more
question
games.
anyways, because the 2-player game, you could just play on the same Switch.
Right. Well, I'm a controller hog.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, luckily it connects to the TV and you can get 2 controllers. Listen,
I'm
not here to
I use
solve all
both.
your problems, but I'm happy to help where I can.
I do like the white Joy-Cons for the OLED.
Yeah, and that's technically, mine, they're only white on the back. But,
Do you remember?
I could always just get white Joy-Cons.
Do you remember
sell
the
them.
wrongest thing you've ever said?
I remember something that I've said that I was partially wrong. I would come to feel that I had been wrong about, but the other part of it I've never changed my story on.
I will.
Go
so I will
ahead.
tell the listeners, and then you can tell me which part of this you don't regret.
Okay.
I got a Switch. If you remember,
Mm-hmm.
one of the 2 default color schemes you can get for a Switch was a blue Joy-Con and a red Joy-Con. The
could I
other being
forget?
2 gray Joy-Cons. Now, again, knowing that we live in a 2 Switch player house, I needed 2 controllers anyway. So I got the the blue and red Switch, and then got the red and blue secondary Joy-Cons so that I could create, because I don't really like the dual color thing, I could create a set of blue and a
Jesus
set of
fucking
red.
Christ.
I could create a set
This
of
gets better and better for me, I have to be honest.
I create a set of blue and a set of red to make 2 different controllers. And
A
Kylie,
feature that was never advertised and that you couldn't know existed without buying it. The fact that
I mean, I knew.
like,
I
when-
went to the store and did it day one, so I don't know. I
Wait-
don't know how I wasn't supposed to learn.
I think a lot of people know this, but the Switch, it comes with 1 red and 1 blue Joy-Con if you
Right.
get that kind. And
Right.
then you can buy separate sets of 1 blue, 1 red, but they are the opposite sides. So
Right.
that when combined, you can have a left and right red and a left and right blue.
something that could have only been done on purpose to facilitate the exact thing that I did.
Of course.
Right. So now I've got a set of blue, a set of red, and Kylie comes over one time for Run Button and sees me playing Switch with the red things on,
Yeah.
or maybe it was the blue or whatever,
It was the red.
and was like, "This is a toy now. This is childish that you've done this. Why do you want your Switch to look like a toy?" Of course, if I had a Switch, which I think you didn't have a Switch yet at the time.
I did have one.
Oh, you did. Oh, so did you buy you have the gray?
I had the gray ones,
You were
yeah.
like, I have the gray because I'm an adult and I like adult colors like gray.
I think I mean, the essence of what you're saying is not necessarily incorrect.
Okay.
But you've really mutated this whole situation.
I
you're
believe-
actually remembering like a conversation that we had probably on a podcast, and now you've morphed it into like I walked into the room and saw it and just started exclaiming things about childishness.
Okay, I believe that the conversation was upstairs. It was a conversation, but it was upstairs, and I do believe that the word that you used was childish and looks like a toy.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And I was
So-
like, of course it looks like a toy. It's a Nintendo console.
so, well, I mean, that was what was so cool about the Switch was it was the first time they made something that didn't look overtly like it was from Fisher-Price. So, I mean,
But only
was
if
I
you got
wrong
the gray.
to be interested in that fact? I don't know. But
Yeah.
so for example, like when I'm thinking about like the gray Joy-Cons, it's like, oh, cool, I could like play it on the subway without feeling like a man baby, as opposed to like the red and blue thing, which I mean, it just struck me as like, oh yeah, the red and blue thing is for like kids that love garish colors and don't understand how they fit together or whatever.
Now tell me
Like
about
it looked so unhinged to me to have like a two-tone Switch. Now, of course, like this has become
the two-tone.
Like this has become the Switch's whole thing. So
Right.
it feels really normal to look at a Switch and see two different colored Joy-Cons. But at the
Right.
time, it's like black tablet in the middle and then just like red on the left side, blue on the right
Yeah.
side. It looked totally insane.
And again,
And-
I totally agree, and that's why I picked up the other set.
Well, yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, in terms of the blue Joy-Cons, problem solved, because the blue ones look nice. What I thought was interesting was that in the marketing materials, the red and blue Joy-Cons looked somewhat soft, like the colors. Like they looked softer than they are. So when I saw them in person, I was struck by how hideous I thought they were in real life. I was like, oh, this looked way better in pictures. Because the red is actually this almost orange neon nightmare that makes my brain mad when I look at it.
I don't really think that that's true about those colors.
I mean, it is. It's like almost,
I don't
if they're
think
neon,
so.
they're literally called neon. Like Nintendo calls them neon
yeah,
red,
they call
neon
them
blue.
neon. They are the colors of like a Super Soaker or something.
Yeah, the blue, I wouldn't actually call the blue a neon, but the red is
No.
definitely a neon. Like, and
I
so
think that
that's
I
what was
think
so
that
funny to
they-
me was you were like, haha, I hacked the whole situation. I fixed this whole thing. I got the other set of Joy-Cons so that I could put on two reds and make my Switch double hideous. Winner, this guy.
No, this is crazy. They look totally normal. They're a totally normal color red. I don't know what you're seeing when you're looking at this red. I think
It's just my special eyes.
By
It's my
I think
special
the
blue eyes
saturation
that are
of the
extra sensitive.
I think the saturation of the red is pretty much exactly the saturation of the blue. Of course, blue is a cooler color, and so like matching the saturation of red and blue, you're gonna get a more intense looking red slightly than the blue because blue is cooler. And that could explain part of it, but I just can't imagine again seeing a Switch with two red Joy-Cons and being like, "Oh my god, what have you done?" I'm curious about something else.
It's something I admit, even I am surprised by my strength of reaction to that color of red, but it's consistent. Like Lucas and Amelia Rose have them. I see them all the time. I hate them just as much now as I did when I first saw them.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
not
got
a
a
fan
red-
of neon colors. They've recently introduced the pastel Joy-Cons. Look very nice.
I've got a red Xbox controller that is like so much redder and more vibrant than that
No,
controller, and it's like my favorite controller.
I love that controller. It looks
Yeah,
great. Because
you're
it's
out of
not
your gourd.
neon.
It's not. Neither of them are neon.
The fucking
That's not
Switch
what neon is.
The red Switch Joy-Con is neon.
No, it's not. Neon red isn't even a thing.
It's too bright. It makes me mad to look at.
It's so much more desaturated than the Xbox controller.
You're insane.
No, I don't have them side by side, but I know that if I went and got it, I would agree. I mean, I could send you a
That's
picture
cute.
of them side by side if you want.
Okay.
All right,
well,
let's
I
see.
mean, whatever. Then I'd just be like, it's the camera.
I will do my utmost to. I mean, if the
But
camera,
there's an almost orangeness to the Switch.
there's
red.
a little bit of an orangeness to it. Yeah, there's a little bit of an
hate
orangeness.
orange.
But the thing about red in relation to orange
I'm glad we're
is that
talking
they're
about this.
very close.
Yeah,
You know that your icon is a fucking orange fox right now in Discord? That's an orange ass fox.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't always dislike the orange.
Okay.
I like foxes.
Well, I'm curious when I was setting up the story and I mentioned that I didn't like the two-tone thing.
Yeah.
And so I got I got two opposite controllers so that I could match them up properly. You said, "Oh, this keeps getting better for me." What did you mean by that?
Oh, now I have to remember what you said. Oh, that you said that you didn't like the two-tone red and blue thing.
Right.
And so like you didn't like it until you got the full
Well, I got them
color
same day. I went
ability.
to the
Yeah,
store,
yeah.
got the Best Buy and the other controllers, like on the same day. Never once has there been a red and a blue on my Switch. It hasn't happened in
I guess
6 years.
I guess to me is like in my mind, I mean, obviously I'm incensed about this shade of red. But
Yeah.
also, I think my memory of the situation is that my primary rejection of it initially was the two-tone thing. So for you to say that you didn't like the two-tone thing, but somehow I'm supposed to be like groveling at your feet, be like, "Forgive me, master, I'm such a fool." But
Well, I
like
didn't
you
have to,
also
Nudge.
didn't like it, so what the fuck are you even talking about?
Well, no, you were upset about my Switch, which didn't have the two tones. That's where I'm confused
right.
about
Oh,
it.
so what?
Because you're saying, well, two reds is
Yeah,
worse.
no,
The thing you hate about
that's-
the two tone is that you hate the red. So
Holy
two
shit.
reds is just worse.
Okay. I didn't like the two-tone.
Right. 'Cause
Then
of the
when
red.
when I saw the red, so I didn't like the two-tone for
As an
no
idea.
reason other than
Right.
red and blue two-tone.
Right. And
Then
that's where
I
I
saw
am. That's
the
where
con-
I live.
Then I saw the controllers in person, and I
Right.
said, "Oh, I didn't realize this from pictures, but I actually hate the colors in person way more than in pictures, especially the red." And then you doubled up on red, and I'm like, "Well, I fucking hate that twice as much now."
Right.
So have we cleared everything up?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, all right, moving on. Well, hey, I have two-tone now too. I have the green and pink. The Splatoon
think the
2
green
green
and-
and pink.
The Splatoon one, I can't think of. I don't think I like that green and pink.
They're even neon.
Yeah, those I would like as a pastel instead of as these. But it's fine.
Yeah.
I like the oh wait. No, I'm looking at the Splatoon 3 special edition gradient blue to purple and then green to yellow. That's terrible. The Splatoon green and pink I do like. That's like
Nice.
that's like watermelon. That makes sense together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a watermelon for sure.
It's a watermelon. Yeah.
For sure, Z's.
That is I think, as far as I know, the only like official Nintendo two-tone that I think looks any good at all.
Amelia Rose has a purple and orange, and I know that I was just railing against orange.
You were. I mean, I really cannot find a foothold in this with you.
But really, I mean, it's a great purple, and it's it's not the worst orange, and so when you put them together, it's a nice little pair.
I want people commenting on this. I want to see what people are saying about this conversation. No holds barred, please. Unless you like to bar a hold.
What? Okay, let's. Yeah, you know what? Let's lay out some ground rules. What
Okay.
holds are we barring?
Okay, no one disagreeing with me. I'm barring.
I'm gonna
that.
say no, like the full chokehold. No chokeholds.
Okay, so you bar chokehold, and I bar people disagreeing with me. and
Sleeper
that's-
hold is part of that. Definitely no sleeper holds. That's dangerous.
Okay. Oh, it's Spyro colored. Look at that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Spyro color. There you go.
Yeah. I still don't like it.
God, I love Spyro.
someone here has made a version of it that is too orange and too purple, and I'm like, that's so much better to me. Because I like the thing that I like about switching, because I swap them
Nah.
all the time. I swap from double red to double blue. And the thing, because they're different moods. It's one of them's cool, one of them's hot.
Again, like back when the Switch was just launching, and I'm thinking that the red and blue color scheme might be the only two-tone Switch scheme ever. I'm like, that's
Right.
stupid as hell. But
Yeah.
now that two-tone Joy-Cons is the Switch's whole vibe, now I'm like, well, you gotta have two different two of the same color. That's boring now. That's
Yeah, I'm just
live
the
it up.
kind of
Switch
kind
it
of
up.
person. I form an opinion,
Switch
and
it
then
up.
I don't let other people making the opposite decision sway me. I do like that. I do like the
Keith. Switch it up.
I do like the pink and mint green pastel. That's very nice.
Yeah, those look very nice.
Yeah, I would get that. That's the one that I would get. I would get these. That's like the Splatoon one, but like nicer because they're pastel. And I love mint. I've always loved mint. And I loved mint before the mint trend.
Wow. And God, we stan you for that. We stan a mint-loving king.
Can I get a little bit of standing of a mint-loving king, please?
Can we stan a mint-loving king for a moment?
Please, for a second of your goddamn life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And gosh, I gotta be honest.
Who
Keith,
remembers to raise your hand if you had the next bit Robin because it was mint?
Well, I don't remember what that is.
Just me in the whole world.
What is the next bit Robin?
It's the phone I had.
Okay.
It's the square phone. You don't remember that phone?
Like, I'm sure if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, right, that thing.
Its whole gimmick was that you could. Here, I'm sending you a picture.
It was blue.
The whole gimmick of it was that it would like smartly. I sent you a Google link by accident.
I already DuckDuckGo'd it.
Okay. Well,
it's not square.
It is square.
No, sorry. I see what you're saying is that it's all like 90-degree angles.
Off. Yes, it's squared off.
I was thinking like literally a square, but this thing's great.
Yeah, it's great look phone. Two front-facing speakers.
What was the problem with it?
There was no problem. The problem with it was that they sold the company to Red, I believe.
Oh.
Maybe it was to Alienware. It was some weird sale.
That must be the red version I'm seeing here. They changed the color to red. There was no reason to buy it anymore.
Yeah. So essentially, what it had going for it was it was a Kickstarter phone, and it had a smart thing where it would cache but delete unused apps and pictures into a sort of cloud storage thing. So you could it would if you weren't playing a game and it was like a 2 gig game, it would cache the game but delete it so that you would get most of that space back. But if you wanted to download it, it would still be on your in your app drawer, just kind of grayed out, and you could quickly download it by tapping on it.
Now, a quick question. I'm seeing a kind of aerial shot on the phone, like a top down, and there's a weird tiny black hole on the top. What is that?
Weird tiny black hole on the top.
It's a tiny little hole.
It's a headphone jack. That's for headphones.
Headphones. Oh my god.
Headphone jack. Yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah, I know. I'm still living that dream, that magnificent dream.
Oh, I actually, I was living the headphone cord dream briefly with my what were they? I don't even remember them anymore. Moondrop Classics.
Yeah, Moondrop Classics, yeah.
And they tragically died because I dropped them too many times. Because they were just as fragile as the shitty Apple earpods they were imitating.
But 5 times as expensive.
Right. And so I went to only twice as expensive, honestly.
Well, sorry. They're 5 times as expensive as those headphones were at the end of their life cycle. When they were phasing in earpods.
Sure.
They were selling those things for $12.
So I broke my Moondrop Classics, and I'm like, well, sign me back up. Whatever. I'm they're good headphones. They don't hurt my ears. I guess I'm just gonna buy a $50 pair of headphones every year or something. They don't fucking make them anymore.
Wow, you got the last pair ever.
They have a classic form factor, but it's all brass, and they're $300.
Yeah, I tried to convince you to get those ones because they have removable wires. So if your wire breaks, you can just pop a new wire on there.
Oh, I don't know if those ones have that. I mean, I guess the price tag has to be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, any headphone that is $300, there's no way they could get away with not having a removable.
Though it wasn't. I remind you, it was not the cable that broke.
No, it wasn't. But
Wait, actually, no, I'm wrong. The cable did break. That's
Okay,
what.
there
Like
we go.
one of the headphones died, and I think it's just because like the cable inside the shielding got severed.
Right. And that's just going to happen. That is just the
Yeah.
cost of doing business with headphones.
I have to say, and maybe, like I said, the build quality was not there, so maybe they were just like, hey, this is not a good product that we want to keep offering. But
Yeah.
it did have this feeling of like, there's only 10 people with my brain disease, with my ear disease, that want this shape of earbuds, so let's take them for all they're worth.
Now,
Don't offer them a $60 headphone, offer them a $360 headphone.
The thing that you've really got to try that you've never really tried is getting an IEM, like the skull candy style in ears,
Okay.
and getting a bunch
Why?
of aftermarket tips and trying to find one that fits your ears better.
Okay. Well, that's a thing I could do, but I'm actually on a whole different tip these days, Keith.
Oh, what's your
no
tip?
pun intended. Oh my gosh. I'm
Since there was no pun intended, I chose not to react.
Thank you. And as you should not have. I'm so glad that you didn't react, because when I don't intend a pun, I'm like, dear God, if someone laughs at this when I didn't mean it to happen.
Oh, it's mortifying. It's mortifying.
Oh God, you don't even know what to do. They're laughing. You're
God,
you're
but I
just
didn't
speaking, but
intend
suddenly
it.
you're on stage in Madison Square Garden. Oh my God,
What
the
are they
lights have gone up. And you
assuming
see
about me that's
everyone.
not true.
Okay. What the fuck were we talking about?
You're in a whole new tip these days. No pun
okay.
intended.
Okay. So I'm seeing these fucking AirPods everyone's wearing, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want those squishy fucking rubber things in my ears, right? But
Right.
then I find out that's just the pros.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
The regular-
the original ones just look like ear pods.
Well, they used to be the earpod shape, but the
Right.
new AirPod 3s have a whole new shape. And I'm like, well, fuck me. I'm a stupid idiot. I haven't tried this ear shape.
What? No,
Let's-
these look like AirPods.
Let's just fucking go. Oh, sorry. The in-between bit was I bought $40 fake AirPods from JVC, and I loved them, except the functionality was kind of bad, and I hated that they were the squishy in your ear rubber tip things.
Right.
So I was like, well, I know that I love AirPods.
So you love them
now.
except for all your problems with in-ear.
Like I love them except that they're rubber and squishy, and that they're probably not as good as Apple would make an AirPod. And so I went and tried the AirPods, and I like them very much, and they're great. And maybe they hurt my ears a tiny bit, but like a huge reduction from the EarPod fiasco.
That's
so
good.
I've been enjoying them. Also, marketed as sweat resistant, which I really need for my job. That's held up.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
my two favorite things about my AirPods. Number one favorite thing is that I ran them through the washing machine by accident, and they were fine. And my
Wow.
second favorite thing
They're
about
very
them,
sweat resistant.
yeah, my second favorite thing about them is that when I did that exact same thing the very next time I did my laundry, they were also fine.
Wow. Oh, there was a time when you were the one making fun of me for not taking proper care of my things. What happened to those days?
God, I guess just what happened was I had a child, and I realized that there were so many more important things in the world than taking care of your headphones. I don't mean to, I didn't choose this for myself,
Oh my
but some
God.
things are just put
A high
upon you.
horse is growing from the ground under Kylie.
It's
oh my
sometimes
God, they're so tall.
responsibility calls,
Oh my
and
God.
what can we do but answer?
It's 20 feet to 30 feet tall now.
Oh, Keith, can you help me
horse is
down from up
crushing me.
here? It's really scary.
I'm already dead. I'm dead and trampled.
All right, geez, Keith. Now it's almost like you're beating a dead horse.
I think the dead horse is Bjorn. I'm the dead horse.
Yep.
And being beaten by your live horse. I got there. It wasn't good, but I got there.
Gosh, he can't visualize an apple, but he has such a vivid imagination.
I know.
And that's what's
Isn't that
so remarkable about the
interesting?
human brain.
It's such an interesting the way we compensate, you know?
Wow. Oh my gosh. The reason that you have such a vivid imagination is that you're overcompensating for your broken brain. That's so sweet.
I know. Visualize an apple. I mean, that's insanity, even the idea of it.
I mean, I think I just cracked the whole thing wide open.
Oh, you're saying you're going to help me visualize an apple?
What if you visualize a Crash Bandicoot apple, which has two
spins by default,
right, but
okay,
completely flat, two-dimensional.
Oh,
so it's a rotating image that you only have to imagine flat.
Wow, I love the way we compensate. Spinning apple that's flat. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean the PlayStation 1 was compensating for a lot, honestly.
It was. I mean, I love the Crash Bandicoot story about how they had built a bunch of the game and then they realized that it was like empty, so they were like, boxes. We can put boxes everywhere. Because they ran out of space on the disc. Okay. No, I get a black nothing.
A black nothing
but spinning.
What?
When I try to visualize a Crash Bandicoot apple.
but spinning.
Right, it is spinning. The nothing is spinning.
Good. Well, it's all... I mean, have you thought about this, Keith? Since we know about relativity, if you're imagining a stationary...
Do you want to know what happens when I try to imagine something spinning?
When if you imagine a stationary apple, but you are spinning on the surface of the Earth at however many miles per second.
So it's spinning because I'm spinning.
Right. So it's a stationary apple, but you are spinning. Therefore, in relation to you, the apple is spinning.
When I try to, I'm just ignoring what you said because I want to back up.
Oh shit.
Because that doesn't work. What happens if like I really try to imagine something spinning is I end up closing my eyes, seeing nothing, and then I eventually start to sort of like rolling my eyes in a circle.
What? That's not how that works.
I'm trying to imagine spinning, but there's nothing I can do.
No.
And so I try to do it physically, but it doesn't work. I don't do it a lot. It's just like a little bits of movements of my eyes.
It's just, I mean, like when I imagine, it's interesting because when I imagine an object, like when I do these exercises, it does in a sense feel like, oh, I'm not really doing it. Like I'm not,
right.
It's not like it's not a 32 millimeter film print of an apple in my head. It's like,
oh, I thought you meant you literally see it. I guess I'm just a fucking idiot.
Shut your fucking mouth, Keith. Let me finish.
Okay.
Is like, I think to myself, like, oh, it kind of feels like it's not super consistent. Am I really visualizing it, or am I just kind of like, I don't know, thinking of an apple and being like, I guess that's what it is. But then you're just like, I tried to get apple and there's no apple. And I'm like, okay, maybe there is something to it.
I don't even understand what you mean by, I guess that's an apple. Like, what do you guess is an apple?
Well, it's like, I get, it's kind of like, like when I think of images in my head, it's kind of the same of like when you see stuff in a dream where it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Gosh, the brain is just so amazing, isn't it? Wow.
I cannot consciously conjure an image, but I can have images unconsciously conjured, which is part of why I don't like horror movies, because I get flashes of scary stuff. And normally it's just black up there.
Stuff.
Right. Normally it's just black up there, but I'll get like just watch a movie with a scary clown, and then I'll be lying in bed, and I'll just get like a flash of a scary clown.
Holy
And
shit.
it's like it's the only time I ever see anything in my mind is when
Keith.
yeah.
You have spidey sense.
Oh, there is a scary clown?
You're seeing danger in the future. I mean, this is like the horror movies are training your spidey sense. Don't be fucking stupid. I know that there's not the Scream killer in your house when you're watching Scream, right? But what now? Imagine if there was the Scream guy in your house, and now imagine him rotating.
But now that you're asking me to imagine it, I can't do it. I can only do it when I'm trying to fall asleep. So the other thing is like if we were to if you were like to sit down, concentrate, shut your eyes, if you were like to just like wait 3 minutes, total silence, and then you were to say like cup, I would get like a flash of lightning briefly, like the outline or maybe the grayed out shape of a cup.
No, I know what
gone.
you'd imagine exactly what I would imagine when you ask me to imagine a cup is I start imagining the scene from Star Wars Episode 1 when Anakin sees the cup that's on the tablet that Mace Windu's looking at.
Oh, yeah. You imagine Mace Windu from behind the back.
Like you were like
staring
cup.
at a tablet.
You were,
by the way,
you said
George
cup,
Lucas
and I'm
invention.
immediately imagining that cup on the tablet. Like, oh yeah, the cup in the Jedi Council room.
Isn't it crazy that George Lucas invented tablets in Phantom Menace and we still don't give him credit?
Gosh.
And we still don't give him credit.
He also invented spaceships in the original Star Wars.
He even predicted what people would do with tablets, which is look at pictures of cups. and how we're always doing psychic tests on each other.
And he also he predicted catty gay robots, and now we have those everywhere.
We do now have those everywhere. Yeah, I briefly get small flashes of things involuntary, but then it's gone. It's just gone.
Okay. Well, we're all rooting for Keith and his disability and the way he's compensated for those disabilities
is by being just the funniest guy I've ever heard of.
Now, was that one of the jokes or
it was
multi-layered.
A pun not intended. So thank you for not reacting.
Right,
I didn't
thank
want you
you.
to.
No, exactly. Boy, I'd say that this awkward silence is the perfect note to head out on. What do you think?
Princess Zelda
I didn't know what to say.
You could just say that she learned the ability to by turning.
She learned the ability to what?
Go him. By to a. It's hard to time that. That's a skill.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny, the idea that you would know that you're going to swear and so press your own censor button. I think it's really funny.
I was going to say they usually do that after the fact, but that's
right.
fun.
Yeah, or someone else is working on a delay.
Well, honestly, it was like I would kind of do that as like a joke when I was in middle school, but it kind of made it funnier. It was like
it's definitely funny to make fun of it.
Well, no, I mean, it's like, have you ever felt like have you ever felt like you watch the bleeped version of something on the TV and you're like, that's really funny. And then you hear the unbleeped version and you're like, I feel like it's funnier when the words are bleeped.
Yes. And I can rotate it.
All right. Well, now we're just joking. Sorry.
No,
I
have a great example of this.
I was trying to open up about personal experiences.
I have a great example
Keith
of this.
just wants to fucking make a joke out of everything.
I have an example of this. It's Arrested Development moving from Fox to Netflix. They say fuck in the first episode, but of course it's Fox. Everything is bleeped, and then they start swearing in the actual thing, and then you can no longer get jokes like Buster swearing too much, and it all gets bleeped out.
Right.
Right. That's hilarious. And then
That's kind of an overused bit, though, isn't it?
I don't think so. They only did it twice in 5 seasons.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's kind of one that is in a lot of stuff, I think, right?
No. I mean, I think that they were very early on that.
Oh, okay, yeah. They were early on that, yeah.
Yeah. They were early on that.
Yeah, they were
but just in general, the swearing, framing it, because you're framing it like it's a TV show. Like, it's sort of a meta thing where you're like, they know that you're watching a TV show, and that's part of it. Like, bleeping it feels right, and then when they stop bleeping it, like, I'm sure that there was meetings about, like, should we still bleep it? And if there weren't, they fucked up.
No,
Either way, they chose the wrong
Wait,
thing.
I'm sorry, what did they do?
Have meetings about bleeping it?
Oh, no, I was hoping you'd say they fucked up again, but you'd bleep it this time.
Oh, sorry, I fucked up. Sorry, guys, right in his mouth.
Oh my God, Keith, we have to end this. This is over.
Okay, I'm sorry, I went too far.